Hello there, and welcome to episode 18 of my quick tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. It's also a re-recording of episode 18 because it happened that I have opened my recording software twice, and it turned out that didn't sit well. So this time we're going to do it right, and we're going to talk glass and everything required to make that. I'm going to go over all the moving parts that you need to know, the work order details, automation, you name it. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist link down below leading you to the previous chapters where you can learn bit by bit all the things you need to know to enjoy Dwarf Fortress. So, first up, to make sand and collect it to make it usable for your fortress, you'll need a glass furnace to issue the command, you'll need bags to store the sand in, and you need a sand collection zone and of course sand somewhere to collect it from. This wavy stuff can come in several colors. There's normal sand like this one, it's white sand, red sand, black sand, different colors. It's all working the same, and the zone itself needs to be on top of it. Technically, a one-on-one grid is enough. It is a never-ending source of sand, and the only thing that could stop you from having fun with it is vegetation growing over the sand, like here. So to stop that from happening, all you need to do is construct a floor grade on top of it. This way, your dwarfs will be able to still collect sand without the vegetation ruining the fun for you. So, once that's set up and you have your glass furnace built, you still need a location where you can store the sand. So let's configure that. Here you open up first a stockpile zone, and we configure it to store sandbags, now exclusively. These are found in the furniture menu. Don't ask me why, it's just like that. You find sandbags here. So, in the other materials tab now, define either the lazy way like I do, every material, and just hit the ones that you need on the way, or be more precise and select either plant cloth, silk, yarn or leather, depending on what you use for your bags. So, also very important, activate qualities. Core quality and total quality must be selected, otherwise the game isn't able to store anything in these. Now, we have selected all the things we need to store sand. So the next time you fire off this job and it sticks in there and looks like this means you have the bag right, you have the collection zone right, and if it lands in the zone in here, you have also configured everything right. Congratulations, step 1 done. So the problem is now we don't want to issue any collection order of sand manually, because that's just, way more work than we could possibly stomach. So, what we're going to do here, proof of concept, what we're going to do is we're going to automate the job. So you press O to get into the work order menu, and over at the glass furnace you see now collect sand as a job. When we want to automate that, you quickly will realize that there are no suggested conditions unlike the other things. We need to configure this ourselves, and here goes how. So you click that green button here to add a condition. So now we're for the first time configuring a condition for ourselves. You press the adjectives button here and type in sand. So here I have only two things to select from, and it's sand bearing items, because the top one would be items made out of sand, and that's not what we're interested in. Right click to get back, and now you see we have a line configured about the amount of sand bearing items. The green icon now will give you the option to change the conditions. I personally like this one the most. This way we're going to start collecting sand as soon as we are below 10 sandbags. That's perfectly fine for me. It just requires quite a lot of bags. So, configure it to your own liking, but this is the easiest way that I know of to automatically collect sand. So, as long as you have now fuel, you can now produce everything out of the green glass tab with that. I'm going to go into the uses and what glass is good for in the bigger picture after the whole production explanations. So, there's also two other types of glass. There's clear glass and crystal glass that we can produce at the furnace as well. So, both of these require a material called pearl ash. This is the part where the glass production grows insanely lumber intense. So you'll need a lot of logs, because pearl ash is made in the following process. First, you go on over to the wood furnace, you create ash. That ash you take then to the ashery and turn it into potash. The potash you take to the kiln, and I present to you here proudly that you finally made it to pearl ash. Ash. So, this pearl ash is the ingredient that we require to make both clear glass and crystal glass. Clear glass is sand plus pearl ash, whereas crystal glass is rock crystal plus pearl ash. No sand included. So rock crystal is a minor value gem that you can find sometimes in your biome. Whenever you find it and you have a lot of lumber available, you might consider making it. Otherwise, it's unattainable. Clear glass is the more valuable variant of glass, whereas green glass is the least valuable one and the easiest to produce. I gotta say, pearl ash production is a really, really labor-intense thing. So you need to automate production tasks for ash, for potash at the ashery, and lastly, also for pearl ash. I'm not going to go over the details because I think you've watched the previous parts of the series, so we've talked so much about work orders already. If not, refresh your knowledge out of the playlist either with the automation video or with any of the previous industrial videos. Now, let's talk about what we can do with glass. We have it in 3 quality levels, which are vastly different values. So if you want to earn money or make something very prestigious, crystal glass is the best you can take. And green glass is the beast of burden among the glass types. The really interesting thing about glass is that it is very, very versatile. It can produce trap pots, so we can make very lethal traps out of glass. Because glass has a high cutting power, it is pretty powerful in weapon traps. We can make furniture of all types. Altars, bookcases, cabinets, chests, many things, tables, thrones. You can do an entire furnishment out of glass. You also can make blocks out of glass, which means workshops, constructions, walls, floors, bridges, everything you could imagine. An entire fortress made out of glass. It's doable. The interesting thing here is that once you start working with magma furnaces, magma glass furnace, there's the point where you just put sand in and get glass out. You don't need to put fuel in anymore. And that's the point where green glass becomes a material which you can just build fortresses out of. And lastly, there's also small things like dice, goblets, and jugs, and those small things that the crafts dwarf usually produces, and you can sell regularly, because when you do these small things out of green glass, it's basically just fuel in and workforce and money out. And when you make them out of clear glass, yeah, it's a lot of lumber input, but at the end of the day, it is just, pretty nice. You can also make raw clear glass, and I strongly recommend doing this. If you can, make yourself at least a couple of raw green glass slabs, and a couple of raw clear glass doesn't hurt either. It is a material that sometimes gets requested from moody dwarves while making artifacts. Yeah, so lastly, I want to say that with the glass industry, when you can muster it, when you have the fuel or the magma workshop and the workforce behind it, it is extremely useful and can just dish out so much stuff in so little time. You just need a couple of glass blowers, and yeah, that's that. I don't have to say much more because I am filming this video for the very first time. The first draft wasn't pleasing me. The second draft was broken, and here we are at the third draft. I'm faster done with the topic than before. So, thanks for watching. I hope you guys found this helpful. Next episode, we're going to go, I think, over clay. And then we are soon finally done with all the industrial complexes of Dwarf Fortress, and we can finally talk about water and more advanced topics. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Leave me a like, leave me a subscribe, and obviously there's the playlist down below if you want to see the entirety of the series, which teaches you Dwarf Fortress in bite-sized chunks. Be my guest, and I'm happy that you're along with the ride. If you want to support the channel, feel free to. There's a couple of links down there. Many thanks for all of you who do. And of course, I want to say a big thanks to you for watching this video right here, right now. I appreciate your time and your attention, and I hope you have a great day. See you soon, and goodbye.